President Father James Burns, members of the clergy and religious, faculty, program directors, staff, administrators, spouses, partners, children, friends, and members of this graduating class. Good afternoon and welcome to the Twin Cities campus of St. Mary's University of Minnesota for this commencement convocation. Please be seated. My name is Brother Robert Smith. I serve the university as a senior vice president, as well as its chief academic officer and vice president of the schools of graduate and professional programs, and I will serve as this afternoon's master of ceremonies. At this commencement convocation, we will be conferring bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees in the Graduate School of Education and in the Graduate School of Health and Human Services. In the commencement ceremony this morning, we presented candidates for bachelor's and master's degrees in the Graduate School of Business and Technology. We have commencement ceremonies or convocations 6 times each year. In addition to today's 2 ceremonies, we have commencement ceremonies in June and October here on our Twin Cities campus. On our Winona campus, we have commencement ceremonies in May. At our Nairobi, Kenya campus, we have commencement in April, and at our Mandeville, Jamaica campus, we have commencement each September. Those of you who are graduating today are part of a large and growing St. Mary's University of Minnesota global family. That is in part reflected by the international flags here in the front of the auditorium. They represent the nations of some of our students who have left their homelands to come and study with us. Today is indeed a joyous day and a momentous occasion for those of you who are graduating. We all celebrate a chapter in your life's journey, a chapter that has not only challenged you intellectually, but in every other way as well. Our university's holistic approach to higher education has provided you with the opportunity to develop the many talents that I know you will share with others on your personal and professional journey as a graduate of St. Mary's University of Minnesota. We have all looked forward to this day, no one more than those of you who are about to graduate, but also your family and friends, as well as faculty, administration, and staff of the university rejoice with you in your singular and great achievement. At this time, I invite all candidates for graduation, as well as members of the audience who are in active military service, members of the Reserves or National Guard, and veterans, to please stand as you are able and be recognized for your service to our nation. I invite all who are able to please stand. Dr. Rebecca Hopkins, Dean of our School of Education, will sing America the Beautiful. Dr. Hopkins.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of gray, for purple mountain majesty, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for heroes and every gain divine.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hopkins, and thank you to Becky Warnock, who accompanied her. Please remain standing. Our chaplain, Father James Nodebart, will offer our invocation. Father Nodebart.
Let us remember we are in the holy presence of God. God of mystery and compassion, you have known us before we were born. You guide our lives with wisdom from of old. It is you who gives us the breath of life. Our studies here have been directed to the task that you placed in human hearts, the task of creating a more just world, a world where acts of compassion and righteousness flourish. We thank you for this day of transitions. We remember with affection those who championed our path here. Lead us on where the world will come to know us for our own wisdom and compassion. In God's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Father Nodebart. Please be seated. At this time, I am delighted to recognize members of the St. Mary's University of Minnesota Board of Trustees who are with us to celebrate today. I ask Ms. Marianne Remick, Chair of the Trustees, and Mr. Greg Stevens, a member of the Trustees, to please stand. Thank you for being with us today. Ms. Remick, Chair of the Trustees, will offer an official welcome on behalf of the Trustees. Ms. Remick.
Good afternoon, and welcome to today's commencement ceremony. On behalf of the entire Board of Trustees, I extend congratulations to the graduates seated before us in recognition of a truly remarkable achievement. You came to St. Mary's University Schools of Graduate and Professional Programs with many life experiences and expectations. You undoubtedly also brought some questions, such as, what will completing a certificate or a degree do for me as a person, a family member, a professional, an educated member of society? Can I achieve the expectations of the rigorous coursework? And is the effort worth the sacrifices I need to make in order to succeed? You have answered these questions and more during your years of study with us, and now you will undoubtedly face more questions. We know that you will find answers to these questions using the knowledge and skills that are now part of your educational and life experience. The Board of Trustees has placed the responsibility to educate you in our Lasallian tradition in the hands of your faculty, staff, and administration, many of whom are present today. I congratulate them on a job well done. Best wishes to the entire St. Mary's educational community in your search for answers to yet new questions.
Thank you very much, Ms. Remick. We also welcome, and I ask him to stand, Mr. Keith Ruskowski, who is a member of the Schools of Graduate and Professional Programs Council of Regents. Thanks for being with us today. We also have several members of the President's Cabinet who are with us today, and I ask them to stand as I introduce them. Dr. Timothy Gosson, Vice President for Student Affairs and Student Life, Father Hugo Montero, Assistant Vice President for Mission and Ministry and Director of Hispanic Ministry, and Mr. Ben Murray, Senior Vice President for Finance and Operations. Thank you for being with us today. Dr. Sarah Ferguson, Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs and Academic Dean, will be assisting the President in giving out the diplomas this afternoon. I also want to recognize several members of our faculty, academic staff, program directors, and coordinators, many of whom are sitting here in front of me and in front of you students. I want to thank you and recognize your competence, your professionalism, your dedication, and the time you give to helping these students arrive at this point today. So thank you very much for that. Ms. Beth Ann Kemling, a member of our alumni board, will offer a welcome to the St. Mary's Alumni Association. Ms. Kemling.
Good afternoon. Congratulations on making it to this very important day in your educational journey. We are excited to welcome you as future alumni to St. Mary's University. You will join a network of nearly 45,000 alumni from our undergraduate, graduate, and professional programs. In your professional and personal lives, you may be amazed at how often you will cross paths with another St. Mary's alum. Undoubtedly, you will find that St. Mary's alumni share connections that span generations, programs, degrees, and even continents. This will be a valuable network to you. The purpose of the St. Mary's Alumni Association is to grow and strengthen these connections through social, professional, networking, and educational events. The thread that brings all of us together is our university and all the people who make the university special. We hope that you will continue to stay connected with St. Mary's. Please know that you are always welcome here. We encourage you to continue the personal and professional friendships you have made here with your classmates, faculty, and staff. We're proud of everything you have accomplished and everything you will accomplish. Please continue to let us know of these successes so that we can celebrate with you. And please consider sharing your time and talents with our St. Mary's students. Information regarding future Alumni Association events and other university events can be found online on the Alumni Association website and the Alumni Association Facebook and LinkedIn pages. St. Mary's has been your university, and in a few minutes it will be your alma mater, and there will always be a place here for you. We are excited to see you move into the next chapters of your life. I wish each of you the best as you go forward. Congratulations on your accomplishment.
Thank you very much, Beth Ann. I think I need to let our community this afternoon in on one little secret. 3 hours ago, Beth Ann was sitting there and graduated with a master's degree. Congratulations and thanks. At this time, we want to honor 3 of our graduating students with the Outstanding Graduate Final Paper Award. As part of the conclusion of their degree program, students are required to complete a capstone project. The final paper is the culmination of the capstone, and in the case of doctoral students, this culmination is a dissertation. The faculty members of each program, in consultation with the program director, recommend candidates for this award. The deans select those to be honored with the Outstanding Final Paper or the Outstanding Dissertation Award. I am happy to announce our award recipients, and I ask them to please come forward to be recognized. Ms. Allison Narison, candidate for the Master of Arts in Special Education, Ms. Leah Teresa Hover-Price, candidate for the Doctor of Education and Educational Leadership, and Ms. Carolyn Rohr-Vitek, candidate for the Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership. They will each receive a plaque presented by the president of the university after I read the title of their paper. Ms. Narison. Don't be afraid. The citation on the plaque reads as follows. St. Mary's University of Minnesota proudly presents this honor in recognition of your contribution to excellence in scholarship on this day, January 19th, 2019, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Father James P. Burns, IVD, PhD, President. The title of the paper is Impact of Token Reward Systems on Academic Achievement and On-Task Behavior. Congratulations, Ms. Narison. Ms. Hover Price. The citation on the plaque reads as follows. St. Mary's University of Minnesota proudly presents this honor in recognition of your contribution to excellence in scholarship on this day, January 19th, 2019, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Father James P. Burns, IVD, PhD, President. The title of her paper is Do More Students Graduate? A quantitative intervention study on changes in graduation rates after the implementation of Link Crew. Congratulations, Ms. Hover Price. Ms. Roar Vitek. The citation on the plaque reads as follows. St. Mary's University of Minnesota proudly presents this honor in recognition of your contribution to excellence in scholarship on this day, January 19th, 2019, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Father James P. Burns, IVD, PhD, President. The title of her paper is A Grounded Theory Study to Explore Clinicians' Point-of-Care Decision-Making Process and Behavior following a pharmacogenomics alert. Congratulations, Ms. Vitek. Yeah. The science ones are the toughest. As adult learners who have returned to further your education, your accomplishments, it seems to me, take on even greater significance when we consider the many responsibilities each of you has managed in order to complete your education. The time away from family, loved ones, and friends, although challenging, I believe will prove its worth in the days and the years ahead. At this time, two of today's candidates for graduation will briefly share their reflections with us. I invite Ms. Amanda Marie Otero, a candidate for the master's degree in education in learning, design, and technology, to please come forward. Ms. Otero.
Greetings. I am honored to be speaking on behalf of the graduating class. My educational journey has been guided by faith. My faith has guided me to serve in Haiti twice, to believe in miracles through my dad with my family, and through the classroom as a teacher for the past 10 years. Faith also guided me to St. Mary's University of Minnesota. It is one of the guiding principles of LaSallian education that is honored through each program and all faculty. Faith endures through hope, patience, and love. These are the characteristics we have grown to understand and appreciate as leaders and learners. My faith has grown through my work at St. Mary's as I have been challenged through transformative opportunities to seek greater depth and breadth in all LaSallian principles: respect and honor, quality education, inclusivity, and advocacy. A Haitian proverb reads, "Daimon, j'aime, which means mountains beyond mountains. In light of the innovative and holistic approaches to teaching and learning at St. Mary's, this phrase has developed a greater sense of purpose in me to see the beauty within and beyond the challenges we face. This has transformed me to become a greater advocate for faith in the presence of God, allowing me agency through the words of De La Salle to inspire and lead by encouraging others with the charge of considering, if not us, then who? Thank you.
Fantastic. Please, congratulations. That was beautiful. Really, thank you very much, Ms. Otero. I next invite up Ms. Leah Teresa Hover-Price, a candidate for the Doctor of Education in Educational Leadership, to share her reflections with us. Ms. Hover-Price.
We all have a story about how we came to be sitting in these chairs today, proudly accepting our degrees. I would like to share a little bit about my journey here. I had always wanted to be a teacher. During my senior year of high school, I began to lay out my plan. I agonized over all the choices, wanting to make sure they were correct for me. After all the time I spent developing my goals and laying out my future, I share my college plans with a very wise woman. I was so excited to share this because I had taken so long to truly decide what I was going to do and how I was going to accomplish it. After I told this wise woman my plan, all she said back to me was, "Well, what are you going to do with that?" I was a little confused. What am I going to do with it? I'm going to be a teacher. Why else would I go to school and study education? This wise woman made the same comment to all of my friends when they told her about their college plans. When my best friend told her she was going to get a degree in counseling, the wise woman said, "What are you going to do with that?" When my friend said he was going to study business, she responded again, "What are you going to do with that?" Some people started to think that this woman really wasn't so wise. Some even stopped telling them her college plans so they would not be asked the question, "What are you going to do with that?" The years went by. I, along with many of my friends, finished our undergraduate studies. We began careers, joined organizations, started volunteering, and even continued our education by studying for advanced degrees. As we were maturing, starting families, we began to see the world differently than when we were in high school. We began to see that maybe this wise woman wasn't asking a silly, repetitive question. Maybe she wasn't even hard of hearing. This woman was not asking us what jobs we were going to get with our degrees or what businesses we would start. She was asking us what we would do with our degrees to make this world a better place. She was asking the teacher how they could use their degree to make a positive change in the lives of his or her students. She was asking the counselor how they could use their degree to ensure that every person was safe and knew they were loved by God. She was asking the nurse, the business entrepreneur, the psychologist, and the scientist what they could do to leave their positive mark on the people they worked with, their community, and beyond. This wise woman, who is also my mother sitting back there, knew that she was giving us a challenge to not use our degrees as a way to earn money or for the prestige that goes with hanging a piece of paper up on our walls, but to use the education we received to improve our lives and the lives of the world around us. While I was completing my work here at St. Mary's, I have come to realize that I can now fully answer the question, what am I going to do with it? By serving my community and God in ways both in and out of the classroom. I now strive every day to not only make sure my students are learning math, but also use what I learned to make sure that every student develops into a conscientious citizen that understands how important education is for their future. My job is not just to teach algebra theorems or geometry proofs, but to prepare them to live in this ever-changing world we call home. Outside of my classroom, I now know that I must work to ensure that everyone has a right to quality education. I cannot just stand by the side and wish for this. I must be involved in political, community, and church organizations that will work towards this goal of quality education for every person. I must be a leader, and the best way to do this is to lead by example. I am now going to take the time to follow in this wise woman's footsteps and say to you, the St. Mary's graduates of 2019, You have completed all your classes, written all the papers, and given all of the presentations to earn your degree. So I ask you, what are you going to do with it?
Fantastic. Congratulations. That was wonderful. Thank you very much, Leah. And we should say a shout out to your mom, too, huh? Thank you very much to both of you for your really insightful and moving reflections. It is now my distinct honor and high personal privilege to introduce to you the president of St. Mary's University of Minnesota, Father James Patrick Burns, IVD, PhD, who will offer us his remarks on this important day. Father Burns.
Thank you, Brother Robert. Dear graduates, friends, family, I offer my own welcome, along with those many others who have greeted you today and will greet you throughout the day, to this wonderful graduation ceremony, as well as to this next phase in your life, as it were. We're delighted to see so many of you here, and in a very special way to have so many of our faculty and those who have shepherded you through this process with us here today. It's an honor for us. And this is a day for which all of you should be very proud. So on behalf of the faculty, staff, and administrators of St. Mary's, I offer you our heartiest congratulations on this year graduation. And regardless of how you arrived at this day, today you are all to be graduates. As the speaker said before, with so many possibilities before you. And yet I would say that the greatest possibility is summed up in the Latin motto of the Brothers of the Christian Schools, Signum Fidei, meaning a sign of faith, faith that we just heard about so well from our two student speakers. For truly the greatest possibility, I would say, we have exists when focused on faith, family, and service, service for the good of humanity. If we pause to think about it and really take this in, it's actually quite humbling what we're asked to do. And indeed, each of you has learned and now can teach us all, I would say, a lesson in perseverance and humility. It is the endurance and patience of the person who has kept on trying and in doing so forged a new path for him or herself despite the many obstacles thrown along your way. It is the humility of the person who thinks not what the world owes him or her, but rather asks, what greater good can be accomplished through the achievement of my education? It is the humility that speaks of respect for self and others in a day and age when we need to have a greater sense of respect for self and neighbor, of what can be accomplished by hard work and commitment devoted to seeking the truth in all things. This humility that I speak of reminds me of a funny story that I happened to hear. And there's a story about a time when someone lost his sense of perspective and humility, a time when we all perhaps forget to respect ourselves and others, which can be truly very humbling indeed. This is especially the case, I would say, when we begin a new career or a new stage in our careers. A man received a promotion to vice president of the company he worked for. And as is sometimes the case, this new promotion went to his head. And for weeks on end, interminably, he bragged to anyone and everyone that he was now a vice president. His bragging, however, came to an abrupt halt when his wife, so embarrassed by his behavior, said, "Listen, Bob, it's not that big of a deal. These days, everyone's a vice president." Sorry, vice presidents, no. Why, they even have a vice president of peas down at the local supermarket. Somewhat deflated and in disbelief, Bob rang the local supermarket, determined to prove his wife wrong and also to actually find out if this was true. He said to the person on the other end of the phone, "Can I please speak to the president of peas?" And the reply came from the other end, "Fresh or frozen?" Seriously, however, You all represent today what it means to be people of persistence who can successfully adapt and adjust to all sorts of environments. Your degrees, many of which had to be completed with many other demands of time and attention, demonstrate a deliberate, patient, determined, and dedicated focus on your goals and show the utilization of life skills that only you could muster. Many of you had to put a variety of things on hold in order to manage school, work, and family and balance all three. And this is something no one could teach you how to do. You had to live it, you had to learn it for yourself, and you did it. However, if in doing all that you do, you continue to do so with quiet dignity, humility, and self-respect, you will have more on your side than any position, supervisor, or money can account for. You will have your own dignity, and you will have shown yourself to be truly worthy of the great St. Mary's Lasallian and Catholic education that you have received here. When you offer yourself in this way, you continue to show you are a person who can successfully adapt and adjust to all things, with righteousness in your hearts and a pursuit of the greatest good as your goal. One of the many exceptional things about a St. Mary's student is that despite all the pressures and strains that life presented to you, you found out more clearly than ever you were not alone. Whether you needed the assistance and support of your classmates, the faculty, or Student Central and advising, you realized that these individuals were readily available to help and cared about you as a person. Perhaps even more than anyone else, you experienced firsthand what it is like to be the recipient of care and concern from spouses and partners, from brothers and sisters, parents, friends, and children. As they were there for you, now you are asked, as men and women of faith, together and by association, to take all the good that has been offered to you and to pass it along by giving your degree to the world in service, to make the world better, to make it all that only you, because of your skills and talents, can make of it. And I would ask now that all of our graduates please rise, stand, and turn to face your family and friends who have joined you today and show your appreciation for all they've done for you by a round of applause to them. You may be seated. Today, each of you presents him or herself for a degree. Having achieved this milestone, you completed a significant goal for which you can be rightfully proud. Your degrees bear witness to this. Seeing these our graduates and celebrating as we do today, we are more convinced than ever that the goal of St. Mary's University is being achieved, and so we remain constant in pursuing this goal while seeking to provide learners with that total educational experience so they can come to know for themselves through the pursuit of knowledge, with an appreciation for a variety of cultural interests, and by becoming well-informed citizens of the world, what a deep sense of obligation they now have to serve the local and global community, and thus truly to become men and women who remember they are always in the presence of God in service to humanity. Much more could be said, but we would rather move forward today to celebrate with our graduating class of 2019, who with the support and encouragement of spouses, families, and friends have reached their goal of graduating from St. Mary's. On my part, I pray that God's blessing may shine upon the sacrifices you have all made and have all shared in, giving you each renewed courage and faith to accept the challenge of the opportunities that lie ahead. May God bless you, and my hope is that you keep in touch in the years to come with us here. May your accomplishments at St. Mary's be but the beginning. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Father Burns, for those inspiring remarks. Well, we have now arrived at the moment each of you, soon-to-be graduates, have waited for and have worked for some number of years. The fact that you've reached the goal that you have been anticipating since you began your studies, the conferral of your degree. The awarding process will unfold in the following manner. Degree candidates will be invited by row to stand. You will be asked to move forward to the hooding area to be hooded by the director of your degree program. When your name is called, please proceed to the stage to receive your diploma from the president. We have arranged for a professional photographer to photograph the graduates as they receive their diploma. So we ask friends and families, therefore, to refrain from coming forward to take photographs so as to prevent congestion and also to prevent obstructing the view of our audience and our guests. There will be ample opportunity to take photos at the reception immediately following our ceremony. Candidates for graduation will be called forward by Dr. Rebecca Hopkins, the Dean of the Graduate School of Education and an excellent singer, and Dr. Todd Reinhardt, the Dean of Sciences and Health Professions. Dr. Hopkins. Yes? Dr. Reinhardt. I've never heard him sing.
The candidates for the Bachelor of Science in Healthcare and Human Services Management are Shahida Begum, Laura Catherine Freider, David Oliver Johnson, Louise Toma Johnson, Sawado M. Mwalim, Jolianne Sarah Muller, Shaquana J. Terry, Kadra Hashi, the candidates for the Bachelor of Science in Nursing are Midhaga Gibeyu Bekelcho, Ashley Ann Ladroma, the candidates for the Master of Arts in Counseling and Psychological Services are Amy Catherine Barkley, Angela Marie Benes, Yvonne Kathleen Broughton, Letitia Carter, Josette Cecilia Magid Krog, Khadija Ahmed Farah, Samatalis Hussein Haila, Anwar Shah Hassan, Rachel Elizabeth Hare, Sophia Jama, Chelsea R. Jernberg, Kyle Johnston, Judith Unoha, Vanessa Robinson, Marissa Stevenson, David Swirnoff, Lynn Marie Thomason,
Candidates for the Master of Arts in Education: Amanda Christine Sarah Adams, Michelle Marie Bisco, Cecilia Elaine Carlson, Lauren Jean Cedergren, Cynthia Ray Franks, Laurel Michelle Gabrielson, Christopher John Hokinson, Kenneth Lee Jagasic, Megan Marie Laughlin, Anna Christine Markham, Kylie Beth Melby, Malia Janine Norton, Elizabeth Patricia Pearson, Renee Jean Pelton, Gwen Marie Pesch, Valerie Sarah Peterson, Amber Ray Ron, Josie Mary Rutherford, Courtney Christine Schell, Lori Catherine Schwartz, Paul Edward Steiner, Alyssa Nicole Strunk, Allie Eileen Kathleen Swang, Megan Elizabeth Ussett, Lauren Ann Valancourt, Matthew James Venice. Candidates for the Master of Arts in Education, Wisconsin: Casey Jean Chittum, Dawn M. Drossel, Megan Marie Reisinger, Lindsay Lee Rudebush, Candidates for the Master of Arts in Educational Leadership: Elizabeth R. Burton, Megan Louise Collins, Taylor Ann Gritz, Joseph Samuel Johnson, Matthew David Katsaros, Andrea Jane Miller, Veronica Elizabeth Ransom, Anna Marie Voigt,
The candidates for the Master of Arts in Health and Human Services Administration are Jessica Bauman, Bronte E. Brolick, Valerie K. Cutting, Sophie Elizabeth Fangle, Alexander David Hagenson, Erin Melissa Mankey. Amanda Moore. Elaine Scott. Lacey Steffenhagen. Jennifer R. Sundstrom. Crystal L. Vang. Panhia Vu. Gabriel Wisa Wia II. Laura Gage Bernbach Wilson. Duzong Yang. Candidate for the Master of Arts in Marriage and Family Therapy, Kiyosampan Thanos Kiyomanipan.
Candidates for the Master of Arts in Special Education, Brenda K. Hansen. John Christopher Megas. Allison Nearson. Kaylin Lally Olson Rayling. Anne Elizabeth Schulenberg. Candidate for the Master of Arts in Teaching, Carla Marie Johnson. Candidates for a Master of Education in Learning, Design, and Technology, Whitney Eileen Anderson. Sarah Jean Edwards. Jolene Inez Elfstrom. Michael David Foss. Aubrey Ann Elizabeth Fusi. Sarah Ann Gasick. Alexis Joy Gonyer. Emily Hart Gower. Morgan Hannafin. Melissa Marie Holy. Anne Landwehr. Sarah Jean Mathiasen. Jason Robert Menth. Stacy Marie Middlestat. Amanda Marie Otero. Amanda May Ward. Katharina Hendrickson Wigman. Candidates for the Doctor of Education and Leadership. David Paul Daly. His advisor was Dr. Nelson Updaw. He is being hooded by Dr. Jack McClure. The title of his dissertation, A Phenomenological Study of the Minnesota State Colleges and University Leadership Development Program. Congratulations, Dr. Daly. Leah Hover Price, being hooded by her chair, Dr. Sonia Fader-Lewis. The title of her dissertation, Do More Students Graduate? A Quantitative Intervention Study on Changes in Graduation Rates After the Implementation of Link Crew. Congratulations, Dr. Hover Price. Kimberly Maria Opelt, being hooded by her chair, Dr. Roxanne Eubank. The title of her dissertation, College Choice Among First-Generation College Students, a Phenomenological Study. Congratulations, Dr. Opelt. Stephen Philip Unowski, being hooded by his chair, Dr. Emmanuel Teclamariam. Title of his dissertation, The Effect of Minnesota Open Enrollment Law on the Racial Composition of Minnesota Public Schools. Congratulations, Dr. Unowski. Carolyn Rohr-Vitek, being hooded by her chair, Dr. Sue Hines. The title of her dissertation, A Grounded Theory Study to Explore Clinicians' Point-of-Care Decision-Making Process and Behavior Following a Pharmacogenomic Alert. Congratulations, Dr. Vitek.
We'll do one more. You can just stand for 1 minute. In addition to those who have just processed across the stage, we have a member of this class who is with us in spirit, after having spent 2 years working toward her master's degree in counseling and psychological services before cancer took her from our midst, Nicole Lapidus. She left us much too young and much too soon. Today we want to honor her life and her work and her memory, and include her with her graduating class by awarding her master's degree posthumously. We are grateful to be able to welcome her parents, Bill and Fran Lapidus, her sister Wendy, and 2 of her good friends, Nicole and Liesel, who are with us today. We are sorry for your loss, and we thank you for sharing your daughter and your sister and your friend with our community. At the request of the family, Yvonne Kathleen Bratton, Nicole's friend and classmate, will come forward to receive her diploma. Yvonne. Will the candidates for graduation please stand? President Burns, upon the recommendation of the faculty, deans, program directors, and administration of the schools of graduate and professional programs, and with the approval of the Board of Trustees, I present to you for your approval candidates for bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees on this day, January 19th, 2019, the 230th year since the founding of the Republic and the 107th year since the founding of St. Mary's University of Minnesota. Do you accept?
I do.
Please be seated. Congratulations. A few minutes ago, Father Burns invited you graduates to salute and thank your friends and your family. While I salute you, our graduates, on earning a degree from St. Mary's University of Minnesota, we all know that this is not a singular or individual achievement. Therefore, I invite you, graduates, to recognize those who have been your mentors, your teachers, and your scholars. I ask the St. Mary's University faculty, program directors, and advisors who are with us today to please stand and face the graduates so that we may all honor you with our applause as an expression of our respect and gratitude. I invite all who are able to please stand and remain standing. Father Nodebart, our chaplain, will now offer our benediction.
God of compassion and mercy, these are the things we know about ourselves today. We know that we will leave with a sense of accomplishment. But in our hearts, we also know the reason is the support, efforts, and often patience of our families, fellow classmates, and instructors. We know that when we go home, we will have time to clear our desks, maybe, file our assignments, and roll up into a ball these years of education. But we also know that there is more ahead and that our education never ceases. What we are remembering today above all is your mercy and compassion toward us, God. For you are the strength of spirit, the inner voice that never ceases to speak to our earth. Help us, God, in our tomorrows to listen to your voice from wherever it comes. Great and wonderful is your holy name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Father Nodebart. Please remain standing. At this time, members of the staff of the Schools of Graduate and Professional Programs will lead us in the St. Mary's University alma mater. They will sing the first verse, and I invite you to join in on the second and third verses. You can find the alma mater on the last page of your program.
Hail St. Mary's alma mater, hail St. Mary's mother true. Every faithful son and daughter lifts this anthem now to you. Ave, Ave, Ave Maria. Hail St. Mary's fount of wisdom, nurturer of heart and mind. Strengthen us in thought and spirit, that in seeking we may find. Ave, Ave, Ave Maria. Hail St. Mary, shining beacon of LaSalle's community. Send us out forever, teaching love and faith and unity. Ave, Ave, Ave
Thank you, Lynn, Michelle, Daniela, Caitlin, Christy, Elise, and Becky. Wonderful. In addition, I want to thank the Victory Park Brass for being with us again. Thank you for adding much to our celebration. And while we're at it, I want to remember to thank publicly the 30 or so St. Mary's employees have worked for the last week, about 10 hours a day, to make sure this ceremony went along flawlessly. They're all over this building. Let's thank them. I ask the graduates and faculty to remain standing, and I invite our guests to be seated. And I promise you it's the last time. On behalf of the faculty, administration, staff, trustees, and regents of the university, I congratulate each of our graduates. We wish you good health and much success and happiness in your life and in your work, and we hope to see you back often. To facilitate our exit, I ask our guests to remain seated until the stage party, the faculty, and our recent graduates have left the auditorium. There will be ample opportunity to informally meet the graduates at a reception on the second floor of this building. Those of you who are guests, I ask you to please exit through the doors on your right. This concludes our commencement ceremony. Again, congratulations and best wishes from all of us to all of you, graduates, families, and friends of St. Mary's University of Minnesota. Good afternoon. Take that for Father. You are welcome.